Hey y'all, this is Allison. I was hanging out in my hill country spacecraft at my friend's house, and I decided I wanted to do a card with some of the scraps I had left over from the last page that I did. But I was struggling a little bit because I don't have all my stuff with me. And I didn't bring all the small letters that I wanted, but I did bring this one die set that had some little encouragement word phrases. And my friend had these heart punches. So there was one that said, follow your heart. And spoiler alert, it doesn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. But the card will still say, follow your heart, just not as I originally intended. I'm also using a 6x8 cardstock paper pad from scrapbook.com, and this one I think was candy was the color combo, and this piece of Shimelle paper that I love. It's kind of a purpley pink with plaid lines on it. It's pretty neat. So I'm cutting this sheet down to 1/4 inch smaller than an A2. So 4 1/4 by, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I have my little scout. So I'm just going to make a mat in the pink to go on the inside. Now this is not an exact ratio for an A2 card, but it's fine. I don't mind it. And it's stitched, so it adds a little extra detail. And then what I think I'm going to do is do some stripes across the bottom using the border strips that I cut off of the papers. And then I remembered, well, let's go ahead and cut the phrase out. And this is the one, it doesn't work great. I still struggle with this scout, and these are not the greatest dies. I bought, inexpensive dies off Amazon, I think. And they just didn't cut very well. And I used the magic mat, so I should have used the plastic mats. I did add a shim and try and cut it again. I just end up not being happy with it, even after I pull it out. So I ended up cutting it a second time with the glossy white cardstock off camera, and that works out a lot better. I was just a lot happier with it. But even then, with this die, the word your, it says follow your heart. The Y doesn't look like a Y to me, and I really didn't like that. So I ended up pulling the word your off a different die, which coordinates. So some of the dies in this set work great and some not so much. And this one, I don't love the font. Was it this one? Yes. The word heart, you can tell they took individual letters and sort of spliced them together, and so it's not a pure script form. It's just, it didn't come together very well. So I'm going to do 2 rows of the heart paper. And then I'm going to overlap them just a little bit so that wood grain, sort of tealish wood grain, looks a little bit thinner. I think that's a pretty cute layout. And then I'm going to cut some hearts, and I pull out my pink scraps and I find this bright pink glitter heart paper, and I think that is perfect. So I do one big one and a couple of small ones. One of them I chopped the bottom off, so I have to do one more. And I think that's the perfect tone. I think it's much better than trying to find another pink or a different coordinating color paper. So I like the idea of the that glitter paper. So here I've cut it in white. Surprise, not using the green. I like that it stands out so much better contrast. As I said, the word your came from a different die set, and I'm not loving that word heart. It's just not pretty. It's not finished looking. So I'm going to just write follow your and then have the heart there. And I think that still gets the point across just fine. So just going to glue these bits down. And this video is only like 2 times speed. So it didn't take terribly long once I got the dies, the words cut properly. And I'm trying to make sure that these aren't in perfect alignment, the 2 small ones. And I like how they cascade down. Now I'm looking for sequins. I did have some pink beads, but those aren't really sequins. But I do have a little package of sequins that has some of the right tones in it. And this first time I set them down, I don't like them. It didn't look good. And so then I go to put them all back, and I decide, you can see I'm like, okay, nope, they're all going back in. And then I decide, what if I just start placing them? There was one left on there that I liked. I'm like, how does that look? And then I start, okay, now let's pull out some particular ones and see if we can make it work. I think there was too much variety in the mix, and I didn't like it. But now I'm just picking a few out, and I don't have my pick tool. I don't have my little triangle trays. So it looks a little awkward as I'm picking them out and sticking them down. And then I just have to use my finger to pick them up and get them glued down. I didn't bring tweezers or anything. But it all works out in the end. So I find all the little bits that I want, and we'll glue them down. And it does end up looking pretty with the sequins on it. Little extra bling. Hard not to put some bling on there when you already have glitter paper. You want a little more sparkle, I think. And one more. And then now with wet glue, I've got to get it glued onto the card base. Luckily, this glue dries really fast. All right, let's take some close-ups. Please give this video a thumbs up and come back to My Space to Craft for more crafty fun. Thanks a lot, you guys.